New investors and wholesalers often think that just because you spend a lot of money on marketing and for cold callers, whatever it is, that you're just gonna get a bunch of money and a bunch of deals. And that's really not the case. Like, there's so much more to it, and I wanna go in depth on it. In today's video, I'm gonna teach you the 3 most important things that you need to know if you really wanna make money from your direct marketing. And if you are new to the channel, my name's Justin You're real estate investor and entrepreneur here in Las Vegas. I've made hundreds of videos teaching people about real estate, and the goal of this channel is to help you grow your money and mindset. Also, if you want to see more personal content, follow me on Instagram at Justin You're Wrong. The first aspect of your direct marketing that you really need to pay attention to is your data. So I learned this acronym back in business school, and it was called GIGO or GIGO. It basically stood for garbage in, garbage out. And what that acronym is referring to is your data. So if you have bad data, garbage data, you're gonna get garbage results. And they were talking about IT and like systems and that stuff, but this applies to real estate too. Like if you have bad data, like if you have bad phone numbers and you're trying to call people and most of these numbers are like, hey, false number, fake number, don't call again, like it's bad data. So you're gonna get bad results. You won't get deals because your data sucks. And data can be a lot of things just depending on your marketing method. Like if you're doing direct marketing, there's usually a few channels that most people think of. They think of cold calling, they think of direct mail, they think of texting, they think of like ringless voicemails and emails even, I don't know, like they think of a lot of different things, right? And so maybe we're gonna choose cold calling for an example. A lot of people, when they cold call these sellers or these homeowners, they use like a skip tracing service to get these people's numbers. And if you don't know what skip tracing is, it's basically using a person's address or a person's name or a combination of both to figure out what their phone number is, or like maybe there's multiple possible phone numbers for that person so that you can actually call them and ask them, hey, do you wanna sell your home? So that's what skip tracing is in a general sense. And a lot of people use really, really bad skip tracing services. I'm not here to sponsor any type of skip tracing service. I'm just saying like whatever skip tracing service you use, if you're planning to cold call, like make sure it's legitimate. Like you don't want to be calling people all day and most of them are just bad numbers. Like you don't want that. You want to actually have good numbers. And just know when it comes to pulling good data, you don't really know what's good until you do it yourself. So once you do it yourself, maybe you pull some numbers to skip trace to call people. You start calling them. You might notice that like 99% of those numbers are like completely wrong. Like they're not even the homeowners, not even close. And if that's the case, like you might think, okay, maybe this is a bad skip tracing service. Maybe let me try a different data provider. So it's kind of tough because there are reputable sources out there, and don't think that just because you pay more to get the data doesn't mean it's better. Like there are some great data providers with these skip tracing services that are really, really cheap. And there's some that are a little bit more expensive, and then I've seen some that are just horrible. But when it comes to pulling good data, you really just have to test for yourself, and you got to get some recommendations from your other investor friends in your area. So like for me, I guess I know this is not sponsored, but I do use PropStream a lot. I know a lot of my friends have used batch skip tracing, and honestly, those are some of the big ones. Like I'm not gonna say so many because I don't want to get you confused or anything, and I'm not sponsoring either of these. Like I'm not any affiliate with either of them yet, but not an affiliate yet. Like those are just some things that I've used and it's worked for me. It's been pretty good data. So just be careful what data you use. But that's data. Like if you have bad data, no matter how much you call, how hard you work, you're gonna have a really, really, really hard time getting deals because your data suck. That's the first thing to consider. The second aspect you have to consider for direct marketing is your volume. Now, when I say volume, I'm just talking about like the quantity of actions that you're taking to get the deal. So like if we're gonna be talking about cold calling again, if you're gonna be cold calling and you're only calling one person a day, but it's every day, like it's still gonna take you probably a really, really, really long time to get a deal, even if your data's good. But if you're calling 100 a day, every single day, you're gonna be a lot faster than the person who's calling 1 a day. But if you call 2,000 people a day, like you dial 2,000 numbers every single day, you're gonna get a deal way faster than the person who's only making 100 calls a day. So the more volume that you do, the faster you will get a deal. It's literally a numbers game. You probably hear this a lot from other people saying, oh, it's just a numbers game, it's a numbers game. And when you think, okay, what does that mean? This is what it means. Like if you're not getting enough deals, up the volume, put in the work, whether it's you hiring someone to make the calls, like put in the work to get the deals. And this applies to every other direct marketing aspect. And it's not just cold calling, like even if it's texting, how many texts are you sending a day? If it's direct mail, how many mail pieces are you sending every week, every month consistently? And if you don't really know how much to send or how much to call, like just ask the other investors in your area how much volume they're doing in terms of how many calls they're making, how many mailers they're sending, and you will hear, like the ones who are actually doing business, It's a lot. Like when I had my cold calling operation, we called 2,000 people a day. Oh, that was per person. And we had 2 people. So we're calling like 4,000 people a day. Like we're dialing 4,000 homeowners every single day to get some deals. And if you're not willing to do that, you have to accept the fact that it's gonna take longer. Or if you are willing to make that many calls, then you might be able to get deals at the same speed that I was getting them. So by now you understand that you have to have good data. You have to have high volume with whatever you're doing in your marketing strategy. But the third thing, and this one's pretty overlooked, is your sales ability. So if you're gonna be marketing directly to these homeowners, you or someone on your team has to have some pretty decent sales ability. Like I've seen people get deals with really poor sales ability, and you can still get deals that way. And of course, you're gonna get better over time with just sheer volume. Like if you really do call a lot of people and you suck at sales, you're gonna get better at sales just by talking to so many people, because you can start to figure out, okay, this works. When I say this, it doesn't work. When I say this, they say F off. Like, okay, don't say that again. Like you figure out what works from volume. Sales ability is something that you really do need to get a lot of deals. So over time, if you're gonna be doing a lot of direct marketing, I do suggest you to get some type of sales training course or something, and I'm not here to sponsor anyone, but get some type of sales training and then do the volume, and that mixture, that little trio, you have good data, you have a lot of volume, your sales ability is improving drastically, you will get deals for sure. And when I say sales ability, it's basically like your comfort level or how well you can speak to people, how well you can sell. Like even though you're not technically selling a product or anything when you're trying to buy someone's home or wholesale someone's home, you're selling yourself. Like you're trying to get the homeowner to trust you enough to sell their home to you. Like it's a sales job. And if you suck at sales, it's gonna be really hard to convince someone. Imagine someone's brand new on the phones. Maybe they're hitting volume, maybe they got good data, but maybe when they're on the phone, they're like, I could buy it. Like, can you imagine that kind of persona on the other side? Like you're gonna think, okay, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. I don't trust him enough to sell in my house. Like I wanna talk to someone who I can trust. You have to be able to convince someone essentially to sell their house to you. That's what this job is. And if you have poor sales ability, it's just too tough. I will say this though, like if you're not ready to commit to buying any type of like sales training, because maybe you're not that far into it, you're just trying to like get your first deal, I understand that. But if you're at that point, my biggest tip to you with sales, it's literally just listening. It's kind of like shutting your mouth and listening to the other person, trying to get a full understanding of how they feel. So a lot of people think that these salespeople, like they talk a lot do, but the best ones, they sit back and listen and they ask prying questions to get the other person to really open up about why they want to sell their house, to try to understand their pain points. So like if you can just get really good at being quiet, and not just being quiet, but like being quiet and asking questions out of real curiosity, like asking a person like, hey, like, you know, what has you considering selling? Like these different kind of things, like you're gonna get so much better at sales just by knowing that fact. Like I know when I just started at sales, I would overtalk. Like I would talk too much. And over time, I've realized I've had to force myself to just like sit back, be calm, be confident, and just ask some questions and listen. Because once you understand their pain point and once you communicate to them that you fully understand their pain points and that you can feel what they feel, they will trust you so much. That's the truth behind sales when it comes to real estate investing. And if you can fully get that down, plus you have good data, plus you have good volume, good sales ability, like you're gonna get some deals. So like those three combinations, that's what you really have to focus on when it comes to finding deals. And a lot of people really undervalue the sales ability and data. A lot of people tell you just do a lot of volume. And yeah, you're gonna get deals from that. But if your data sucks and your sales ability sucks, it's gonna take a lot longer. So work on those three and find your next deal. Also, if you want help to grow your real estate business, whether you're brand new or if you already got deals in your belt, go to the link in the description, fill out the application, and someone from my team's gonna reach out to you. Peace.